The notification sound on my phone wouldn't stop. 3 in the morning, and it kept buzzing like an angry hornet trapped in a jar. I fumbled for my reading glasses on the nightstand, squinting at the screen through the darkness of my bedroom. 67 missed notifications. All from the same app I'd never even heard of until that moment. TikTok. My name is Richard Harrison, and I'm about to tell you how my own grandson tried to turn my illness into internet gold. I should back up. 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's. Not the kind where you forget your children's names just yet, but enough that sometimes I'd find myself in the kitchen wondering why I'd walked there, or I'd repeat the same story twice in one conversation without realizing it. My wife Eleanor passed 3 years back, and I'd been living alone in our house in Portland, Oregon, the same house we bought in 1985 when the neighborhood was just starting to grow. These days, the place feels too big for one person, too many rooms echoing with memories. My grandson Tyler showed up at my door on a Tuesday afternoon in late spring. He had that earnest look on his face, the one he used to wear as a kid when he wanted something but was trying to appear selfless. He's 28 now, tall like his father was, with his grandmother's green eyes. He told me he'd been worried about me living alone, that his mother, my daughter Rachel, had been losing sleep over it. Said he wanted to move in for a while, help me around the house, make sure I was taking my medications, keeping up with doctor's appointments. What kind of grandfather says no to that? I said yes. God help me. I said yes. Tyler moved in that weekend with just 2 suitcases and a large duffel bag full of what he called electronics for work. He was between jobs, he said, doing freelance social media consulting. I didn't fully understand what that meant, but young people have their careers now that didn't exist when I was their age. He set himself up in the guest room down the hall, the one that used to be his mother's before she married and moved to Seattle. The first week was nice. Tyler would make breakfast. We'd talk about the Trailblazers. He'd help me organize my pill bottles. He even fixed the loose board on the back porch that had been driving me crazy for months. I felt grateful, relieved even. Maybe getting older didn't have to mean being alone. The second week, I started noticing small things. Tyler would have his phone out constantly, angled toward me, even when we were just watching television. He'd ask me to repeat stories I'd already told him, but with this strange enthusiasm that didn't quite match his expression. Tell me again about the time you and Grandma got lost in Arizona, he'd say, phone casually resting on the arm of his chair, screen facing me. I'm old, but I'm not stupid. Not yet, anyway. The third week, I found the first camera. I'd been looking for my reading glasses, checking the usual spots, when I noticed something odd mounted in the corner of the living room, hidden partially behind the curtain rod. It was small, black, lens pointing directly at my recliner where I spent most evenings. I stood on a chair to get a closer look, my knees protesting the whole way up. Ring camera, the label said. For security, probably. Tyler must have installed it to keep an eye on things, make sure I didn't fall or have an episode when he was out. That's what I told myself. That's what I wanted to believe. But then I found the second one. In the kitchen, tucked behind the ceramic rooster Eleanor had loved, positioned to capture the entire room. And a third one in the hallway, disguised as a smoke detector. And a fourth in the bathroom, hidden in the ventilation grate. The bathroom. He'd put a camera in the bathroom where his own grandfather showered and dressed. My hands were shaking when I confronted him that evening. He was in his room with the door half open, hunched over his laptop, wearing headphones. I knocked twice, harder than necessary. He pulled the headphones down around his neck and turned to me with that same earnest expression. Grandpa Richard? What's up? The cameras, I said. My voice came out rougher than I intended. Why are there cameras everywhere in my house? He didn't even flinch. Oh, those? It's for your safety. Mom was worried about you having a fall when I'm not here. This way I can check on you from my phone, make sure you're okay. There's one in the bathroom, Tyler. That's the hallway camera. The angle just happens to catch part of the bathroom door. It's not actually in the bathroom. He was lying. I could see it in the way his eyes shifted slightly left, the way his hand moved to scratch the back of his neck. I'd been a high school principal for 33 years before I retired. You learn to spot a lie. I want them gone, I said. "Grandpa, come on. It's for your protection. It's my house. Take them down." He held up his hands in surrender. "Okay, okay. I'll take them down tomorrow. I didn't mean to upset you. I was just trying to help." That night, I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong, deeper than the cameras. I kept thinking about his phone, always pointed at me. The way he'd ask me to repeat myself, that duffel bag full of electronics. At 4 a.m, I gave up on sleep and made my way downstairs to make coffee. That's when I saw the light under Tyler's door and heard voices. Multiple voices, but only Tyler was in there. I pressed my ear to the door, feeling ridiculous, like a character in some television drama. But I heard it clearly. Tyler's voice, then a woman's voice, then a burst of laughter that sounded canned, artificial. Then Tyler again. Wait, let me show you the best one from yesterday. Watch this." My own voice came through the door, tinny through laptop speakers. "Eleanor? Eleanor, where did you put the car keys? We're going to be late for church." A pause, then my voice again, confused. "Oh, right. Eleanor's not. I forgot." More laughter. The woman's voice. "Oh my God, that's so sad though." "Tyler, I know, right? That's what makes it good content. Real, you know? Not staged." I stood in that hallway for what felt like an hour, but was probably only a minute. My heart was doing something complicated in my chest, beating too hard and too fast. I backed away from the door slowly, carefully, like I was trying not to wake a sleeping bear. Made it back to my room, sat on the edge of my bed in the dark. That's when I picked up my phone and saw those 67 notifications. I didn't have TikTok installed, so I downloaded it, hands clumsy on the screen, created an account, searched for Tyler's name. Nothing under his real name. But then I tried variations, T, Harrison, Tyler H. And finally I found it, Gramps World, official. 543,000 followers. The profile picture was a photo of me sleeping in my recliner, mouth open, the television casting blue light across my face. The bio read, "Taking care of Gramps with Alzheimer's. Real life, real struggles, real love. Follow our journey." I started scrolling through the videos. There were hundreds of them. Me shuffling around in my bathrobe at 6 a.m, hair standing up, muttering to myself. Me standing in the kitchen holding a pan, looking confused. Me calling Tyler by his father's name, then correcting myself. Me telling the same story about fixing a carburetor in 1973, word for word, in 2 different videos posted a day apart. Each video had thousands of comments, tens of thousands. "This is so wholesome. You're such a good grandson. My grandpa has dementia too. This hits different. The way he looks at you breaks my heart. I'm literally crying watching this." But mixed in were other comments. "Bruh, why does he keep forgetting Lamau? Alzheimer's be like. Control plus Alt plus delete. Old people are so funny when they're confused." Tyler had responded to many of the comments, playing the part of devoted grandson. "Thanks for the support, fam. It's tough, but we're managing day by day." Heart emoji, praying hands emoji. I spent the rest of that night watching every video he'd posted. 6 months worth. Some were just 15-second clips of me looking disoriented. Others were longer, edited compilations of my confused moments, set to melancholy piano music. One video titled, "Gramps Forgot Grandma Passed Away Again," had 4 million views. 4 million people had watched me realize, for what I thought was the first time that morning, that my wife was dead. I felt sick. Not the kind of sick where you vomit, but the kind that sits in your stomach like a stone and makes your whole body feel wrong. This was my grandson. This was Tyler, who I'd taught to ride a bike, who I'd taken fishing every summer until he turned 16 and got too cool for it. This was the little boy who used to fall asleep on my lap during long car rides. He'd been farming my disease for content, for money, for internet fame. The ads. I'd seen ads between some of the videos. Tyler was monetizing this. His profile had a link, "Support Gramps and me on Patreon." I clicked it. 273 patrons. Tiers ranged from $5 a month to $50 a month for exclusive behind-the-scenes content and direct messaging with me about caregiving tips. He was making thousands, maybe tens of thousands, off my deteriorating brain. I didn't go downstairs that morning when I heard Tyler moving around. I stayed in my room with the door locked. He knocked around 8:30. "Grandpa, you okay in there?" "I'm making eggs." "I'm fine," I called back. "Not hungry. I'm going to rest." "You sure? You should eat something." I said I'm fine. Silence. Then, "Okay. I'll save you some. Let me know if you need anything." His footsteps retreated down the hall. I heard him on his phone in the kitchen, voice low, laughing at something. I imagined him filming my closed door, adding text overlay. "Gramps is having a rough morning. Send prayers." I needed help, but who? Rachel was in Seattle, worked long hours as a corporate attorney. She'd probably known about the videos, maybe even approved them. Tyler's father, my son-in-law, Dennis, had divorced Rachel 5 years back and moved to California. We barely spoke. My friends from the school where I'd worked had mostly moved away, or, increasingly, passed away. Eleanor's sister Margaret lived in Florida, and we'd never been close. I was alone. That's what Tyler had counted on. That's what made me the perfect target. But then I remembered Diane. Diane Wallace was my home healthcare nurse, sent by my insurance company to check on me twice a week after the diagnosis. She'd been coming for about 3 months. Mid-40s, efficient but kind. The type of person who didn't treat you like a child just because you had memory problems. She'd talked about her own parents, both gone now, with the kind of gentle sadness that told me she understood what it meant to watch someone disappear piece by piece. Her next visit was scheduled for Thursday, 2 days away. I could hold on for 2 days. I could pretend nothing was wrong for 2 days. That was my plan anyway. Tuesday, Tyler knocked on my door around lunchtime. "Grandpa, I'm going out for a couple hours, meeting a friend. You need anything before I go?" "No," I said through the door. "I'm fine." "Okay. Love you?" Those last 2 words hit me like a physical thing. Love you. As if love was filming someone's worst moments and broadcasting them to millions. As if love was profiting off deterioration and confusion. As if love was hiding cameras in bathrooms. I waited until I heard his car pull out of the driveway. Then I went downstairs. His room was unlocked. I felt guilty going in, which was absurd given what he'd been doing. But decades of respecting privacy don't disappear just because someone's betrayed you. His laptop was closed on his desk. I opened it. Password protected, of course. I tried a few obvious combinations. His birthday, his mother's name. Nothing worked. But next to the laptop was a notebook, the kind with a marble-patterned cover. I flipped it open. Pages and pages of notes. Video ideas. Gramps forgets where he is. Gramps calls me Dad again. Gramps tries to drive staged, make sure car keys are hidden but accessible. Posting schedules, engagement metrics, sponsor outreach lists. There was an email address for someone called Madison, titled Manager. He had a manager. This wasn't casual. This was a business. Further back in the notebook, I found what I was looking for. Passwords. He'd written them down old school, probably not trusting password managers. I found the one labeled laptop and logged in. His desktop background was a photo of us from last Christmas. Me and Tyler, with Santa hats on, both grinning. The image made my chest hurt. I opened his browser. Email first. I skimmed through conversations with Madison, the manager, about brand deals, sponsorship opportunities, merchandise ideas. One email chain was titled Expansion Strategy. Madison had written, "We should bring in another family member. Your mom, maybe?" The concerned daughter angle would kill. 2 perspectives of caregiving content. Double the emotional punch. Tyler's response. Working on it. Mom's hesitant about the camera stuff, but I think I can convince her. Maybe frame it as spreading awareness about Alzheimer's. My daughter. He was trying to rope my daughter into this. I found the TikTok data folder next. Drafts, scheduled posts, raw footage. Hours and hours of raw footage. I was in almost every file. Eating breakfast, napping, wandering around, looking for something. There were clips I didn't remember being recorded at all, which made sense given the hidden cameras. One folder was labeled Gold Clips. I clicked on it. These were the moments Tyler thought were most exploitable. Me calling Eleanor's name. Me standing in the garage holding my old golf clubs, crying quietly. Me having a moment of clarity, staring at a photo of Eleanor, whispering, "I miss you so much." That last one hadn't been posted yet. The file was dated 3 days ago. I copied everything, all of it, dragged folders onto a USB drive I found in Eleanor's old desk, the one she used to use for school photos before everything went digital. It took 20 minutes. I kept glancing at the doorway, expecting Tyler to walk in, but the house stayed quiet. When the transfer finished, I shut down the laptop exactly how I'd found it, closed the notebook to the same page, and went back upstairs. Put the USB drive in my sock drawer under the thick wool socks Eleanor had knitted for me the winter before she died. Then I sat on my bed and shook. Just shook like I had palsy, until the shaking stopped on its own and was replaced by something colder, something harder. Tyler came home around 5. I heard him bounding up the stairs, that young person energy I'd never have again. He knocked on my door. "Grandpa, you awake?" I opened the door. He was holding a bag from my favorite deli. "Got you a pastrami sandwich? The one you like with the brown mustard?" "Thank you," I said, taking the bag. Our hands touched briefly. His skin was smooth, young. Mine was spotted and papery. When had I gotten so old? "You feeling better? You seemed off this morning." "Just tired," I said. "You know how it is." He smiled, that easy Tyler smile. "Yeah. Hey, listen. Some friends might come by later this week to film a thing. Is that okay? It's for a project." "What kind of project?" "Just a documentary thing about caregiving. Raising awareness, nothing big." "Nothing big." He was so casual about it, so comfortable with the lying. "Sure," I said. "Whatever you need." "Thanks, Grandpa. You're the best." He turned to go, then looked back. "Oh, and I took down those cameras like you asked. Didn't want you uncomfortable in your own house." He hadn't taken them down. I'd checked earlier. They were all still there, just repositioned slightly. More lies. "Appreciate it," I said, and closed the door. Thursday morning, Diane arrived at 9:30, like always. I heard Tyler greeting her downstairs, playing the devoted grandson. "He's been a little off the last couple days," Tyler was saying, more confused than usual. I'm getting worried, building his narrative, making sure she'd see what he wanted her to see. Diane came upstairs and knocked. "Richard, it's Diane. Can I come in?" "Please," I said. She opened the door and stepped in, carrying her usual medical bag. She took one look at my face and frowned. "What's wrong?" "Close the door," I said quietly. She did, then sat in the chair by the window. "Richard, you're scaring me. Are you having chest pains? Dizziness?" "I need to show you something," I said. "But you have to promise you won't react. Not where he can hear." "Where who can hear?" "Tyler." I showed her everything. The USB drive contents on my old desktop computer. The monitor turned away from the door, just in case. The TikTok account. The videos. The notebook photos I'd taken with my phone. The emails. All of it. Diane watched in silence. Her expression changed from concerned to confused to horrified. The video of me crying over Eleanor's photo, the one labeled "Gold Clips." That's when she put her hand over her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Richard, this is elder abuse. This is exploitation. I know. We need to call the police. Right now." "Wait," I said. "I need to think about this. He's my grandson, Rachel's son. He's monetizing your illness without your consent. He's filming you in the bathroom. Richard, these videos have millions of views. Millions of people have watched your private moments, your suffering, without you even knowing." She wasn't wrong. But calling the police meant it became real in a way I wasn't ready for. It meant my daughter would know. It meant the whole family would implode. What was left of it, anyway. "I need more time," I said. Diane stood up, pacing the small space between the bed and the window. Okay, but we're documenting this. Official medical records. I'm noting that I observed evidence of potential exploitation, and that you're cognitively aware enough to understand what's happening to you. That protects you legally. He has cameras everywhere," I said. "He'll know if I start acting different." then we don't change anything yet. But Richard, I'm not leaving you alone with this. I'm coming back tomorrow. Not as your nurse, as your friend. We're going to figure this out. Something in my chest loosened slightly. Not relief exactly, but something close. I wasn't alone anymore. Why would you do that? I asked. Why help me like this? She sat back down, her expression soft. My dad had Parkinson's. Toward the end, he was completely dependent on care. My brother, his only son, took advantage, moved him to a cheaper facility, and kept the difference in Dad's pension for himself. By the time I found out, Dad was living in a place with bed sores and dehydration. I've never forgiven myself for not checking sooner, for not being more suspicious. So yeah, I'm helping you. Nobody deserves this, but especially not someone who can't fully fight back alone. I can fight, I said. I'm not gone yet. She smiled. No, you're not. And we're going to make sure everyone knows it. That afternoon, Tyler was in a good mood. He'd gotten a brand deal, he told me over dinner. Some supplement company wanted him to promote their product in his videos. Brain health supplements, he said with zero irony. They think my audience would connect with it, given the Alzheimer's awareness stuff. Alzheimer's awareness stuff. As if he was doing a public service. That's great, I said, pushing pasta around my plate. It's pretty good money, actually. Gonna help me move out eventually, get my own place. Once you're more, stable. Once I was more gone, he meant. Once I degraded enough that he could justify putting me in a home and keeping the house. I've been thinking, Tyler continued, maybe we should do some videos together, like you talking directly to camera about your experience. Real raw stuff. People would love that. I don't think so, I said. Come on, Grandpa. It would be inspiring. Show people that Alzheimer's patients are still people, The gall of it. The absolute gall. Tyler, I said carefully, those videos you've been posting on TikTok, under Gramps' World. He froze, fork halfway to his mouth. The mask slipped for just a second, and I saw something cold underneath. Then it was back, the earnest grandson expression. You saw those? I did. Grandpa, I can explain. It started as a way to document our journey, to help other families going through the same thing. The money isn't even that much. I barely make anything. You have 273 Patreon supporters, I interrupted. That's not barely anything. He set his fork down. Okay, you're right. I should have told you. But honestly, you wouldn't have understood. You would have said no. And these videos are helping people. Read the comments. Families dealing with Alzheimer's saying how much it helps them to see our story. Our story. As if we were collaborators. You put cameras in my bathroom, I said. That was for safety, that's all. I would never post anything inappropriate. You posted me crying over my dead wife. That hasn't gone live yet, he said, and then realized what he'd admitted. We sat in silence. The kitchen clock ticked loudly. Outside, a dog barked. Are you going to tell Mom? Tyler finally asked. I don't know yet. Because if you do, she's not going to understand either. She's going to think I'm taking advantage, but I'm not. Everything I do is for you, to take care of you. Take down the videos, I said. Grandpa, take them down. Delete the account. All of it. He leaned back in his chair, studying me. Really looking at me for the first time in months? Maybe. I can't do that. Why not? Because it's my career now. I have contracts, sponsorships. People depend on this content. I can't just delete everything. People depend on watching me forget my wife is dead? That's not fair, he said, voice rising. You're twisting it. I show reality. I show what it's really like. That's valuable. It's my reality, not yours to sell. You're sick, Grandpa. You don't always understand what's happening. I'm making decisions for both of us. There it was, the truth underneath all the justifications. He thought because I had Alzheimer's, I couldn't make my own choices, couldn't protect myself, was just content to be mined. Get out, I said quietly. What? Get out of my house. Pack your things and leave. Grandpa, you can't live alone. You need help. I'll get help. Not from you. Get out. He stood up, chair scraping loud against the floor. Fine. But you're making a mistake, a big one. And when you can't remember how to cook, or where you are, or what day it is, don't come crying to me. I won't, I said. He left the kitchen. I heard him on the stairs, in his room, slamming drawers. My hands were shaking again, but I kept them flat on the table, pressing down until they stopped. 20 minutes later, he came back downstairs with his suitcases and that duffel bag of electronics. He stopped in the kitchen doorway. I'm going to Mom's place in Seattle for a few days. To cool off, but Grandpa, I need you to think about this. Really think about it. Without me here, something could happen to you. You could fall, have an episode, and nobody would know until it was too late. It was a threat dressed up as concern. We both knew it. Goodbye, Tyler, I said. He left. The door closed. His car started and pulled away. The house was quiet. I sat at that kitchen table for a long time, just breathing. Then I called Diane. He's gone, I told her when she answered. I kicked him out. How are you feeling? Scared, I admitted. But sure. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. Listen, I'm coming over. Don't argue. I'll bring dinner and we'll make a plan. She showed up 40 minutes later with Chinese takeout and a determined expression. We sat in the living room, Eleanor's old quilt over my lap, and talked through options. You could file a police report, Diane said. What he did might constitute several crimes. Invasion of privacy, exploitation of a vulnerable adult, potentially fraud if he's making money under false pretenses. Would anything come of it? She hesitated. Maybe, maybe not. It's new territory legally. Social media exploitation of family members. The laws haven't caught up yet. What else? Civil suit. Sue for damages, emotional distress, unauthorized use of likeness. That has a better chance of succeeding, but it's expensive and lengthy. I don't want to spend the rest of my time on Earth in courtrooms, I said. Then there's the public option. Go public yourself. Tell your side. Take away his narrative control. That one made me pause. How? Make your own video. Explain what happened. Show the evidence. Let people judge for themselves. His followers deserve to know the truth about what they've been watching. It felt dangerous, exposing my own grandson publicly. But he'd exposed me to millions without consent. Turnabout was fair play. I don't know how to do all that, I said. The technical stuff. I do, Diane said. My daughter's a film major. She'll help. We'll do this right. Over the next 3 days, we put together what Diane called my testimony. We filmed it in the living room, just me sitting in Eleanor's favorite chair, talking directly to camera. No music, no editing tricks, just truth. I explained who I was, showed my diagnosis papers, explained how Tyler had moved in under false pretenses, showed the evidence from his computer, the videos, the financial records. Read some of the worst comments out loud. Explained how it felt to discover millions of people had been watching my deteriorating condition as entertainment. I'm not telling you this to get sympathy, I said to the camera. I'm telling you this because Tyler's not the only one doing this. There are others out there, filming vulnerable family members, monetizing their confusion, their pain, their private moments. And we let it happen because we call it content and raising awareness instead of what it really is. Exploitation, abuse, entertainment built on human suffering. I paused, looked directly at the lens. I'm 67 years old. I have Alzheimer's. But I'm still here. I'm still a person. I still have dignity. And I'm still capable of fighting for myself. If you've been watching Tyler's videos, please understand. That wasn't reality. That was selected clips designed to make you feel emotions that would keep you watching. That would make him money. Every view, every like, every share. You were participating in my exploitation without knowing it. Diane's daughter edited it down to 7 minutes. We made a TikTok account under my name, Richard Harrison. Posted the video. Added a simple caption. The truth about Gramps' world. Please share. Then we waited. The first day, it got a few hundred views. We'd tagged it carefully, used Tyler's account name, relevant hashtags. By day 2, it had 50,000 views. By day 3, it had gone viral. 2 million views. Comments in the thousands. Shares everywhere. People were angry. Not at me, at Tyler. The narrative had flipped. Suddenly all those wholesome videos of his looked different through the lens of truth. News outlets started picking it up. TikTok grandson exposed for exploiting grandfather's Alzheimer's. The dark side of caregiving content. Local news wanted interviews. National morning shows reached out. Tyler tried to respond. Posted his own video. Tearful, apologetic. I never meant to hurt my grandfather. I thought I was helping. I've taken down the account. I'm so sorry. But it was too late. The internet had turned. Comments on his apology were brutal. My daughter Rachel called. She'd seen everything. She was crying. Dad, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know it was this bad. He told me he was just posting occasional updates, that you'd agreed to it. I should have checked. I should have visited more. I'm so sorry. Did you know about the money? I asked. Silence. Then, some of it. He said it was just enough to cover groceries. I didn't realize. God, Dad, I'm so sorry. He tried to get you involved, I said. Wanted you on camera too. He mentioned it. I said no. Said it didn't feel right. But I should have questioned more. Should have protected you. You can now, I said. I need a lawyer. Good one. She came down from Seattle that weekend. Brought her laptop, her lawyer contacts, her guilt. We filed a civil suit against Tyler. Not for the money, though there would be damages. For the principle. To set a precedent. To show that this wasn't okay. The TikTok video led to other things. A nonprofit focused on digital rights for elderly people reached out, wanted me to speak at events. A law firm specializing in elder abuse offered to represent me pro bono. Other families came forward with similar stories of relatives exploiting their loved ones' conditions for social media profit. I became, weirdly, a symbol. The old man who fought back. The Alzheimer's patient who proved he wasn't helpless. Media called it inspiring. I just called it necessary. Tyler settled out of court 6 months later. Part of the settlement was a public apology, a real one this time. He had to donate a portion of his earnings from the account to Alzheimer's research, had to take classes on elder care ethics, had to agree never to post about me again without explicit written consent. I don't know if he learned anything. I don't know if he's sorry or just sorry he got caught. Maybe I'll never know. He's my grandson, and I love him in that deep, permanent way. You love family even when they break your heart. But I don't trust him. Might never again. Rachel visits twice a month now. We're rebuilding something, though it's different than before. There's wariness there, on both sides. But we're trying. Diane still comes by, though not as my nurse anymore. As my friend. We play chess badly and watch old movies and talk about everything and nothing. She's patient when I forget things, kind when I repeat myself, honest when I need honesty. She's teaching me more about technology too, helping me understand privacy settings, digital rights, how to protect yourself in an age where everything is content. Last week, I got a message from someone who'd seen my video. Her name was Patricia, 72, from Ohio. Her daughter had been doing the same thing Tyler did, filming Patricia's struggle with dementia, posting it to Instagram for followers and sponsorships. After seeing my story, Patricia confronted her daughter, kicked her out, took back control. She wanted to thank me for giving her the courage. I read that message 3 times, crying quietly in my living room, in Eleanor's chair. That's when I understood why all this had happened, why I'd found out, why I'd fought back, not just for me, for everyone like me, for all the vulnerable people being turned into content without consent, having their dignity stripped away 15 seconds at a time. I'm 67 years old. I have Alzheimer's. My memory isn't what it was. Sometimes I forget what I had for breakfast. Sometimes I call Rachel by Eleanor's name. Sometimes I stand in a room with no idea why I went there. But I remember the important things. I remember my grandson chose fame over my dignity. I remember I didn't let him get away with it. I remember that being old, being sick, being vulnerable doesn't mean being powerless. And I remember that my name is Richard Harrison, and I'm still here, still fighting, still worthy of respect. That's what matters. That's what I'll hold on to for as long as I can. My phone buzzes sometimes, notifications from the TikTok account we made to tell my story. People still comment, still share, still say thank you for speaking up. Each notification is a reminder that my voice matters, that I matter. Disease doesn't erase that. Age doesn't diminish that. I look at Eleanor's photo on the mantle, the one from our 40th anniversary. She's smiling at me, proud. I think she'd be proud of this too. Of me standing up. Of me refusing to disappear quietly. I did good, didn't I? I say to her photo. And in the quiet of this house, too big for one person but still mine, still full of memories that matter, I choose to believe she's saying yes. I did good. I'm still doing good. And I'm not done yet.